Hello, everyone. Derek Johnson with Tatango.com. This is the week in review where we look at some of the text messages, some of the best text messages sent last week. So this is week 31 in 2020. Let's get right into it. First off, though, where do we find these text messages? SMSarchives.com. It has over 100 brands, over 2,000 text messages have been archived so far. You can sort, filter by SMS, MMS, brand type. It's a really great resource brought to you by Tatango.com. So let's jump into it. The first message is from Tommy John. So let's look at it here. Tommy John starts off with the brand. We're seeing this a lot more, kind of standardization. This only happens once a year. Get $10 off, orders $50 plus with code NUD10. So this is what I call the McDonald's strategy. So if you ever look at a McDonald's ad, it says, get a free Coke when you order, a Big Mac. Get, a free sundae when you do something. So essentially they're giving the offer up front and they're qualifying the offer later. I do see some brands that mess this up. They say, order $50 or more and get $10 off. That's the wrong way to do it. You want to hook them and then show them kind of what the qualifications for the deal are. So Tommy John is doing a great job here by starting with the $10 off and clarifying that it has to be on orders of $50 or more. And then they have the link below. As you can see, the link is being previewed on the iPhone. I think this could be better. You could put an image in the link preview. Still keep it an SMS message, but you would have, nice, beautiful image to look at rather than just kind of the text and the little icon there. So that's the first one. That is Tommy John. Okay, this is LA Collective. So this is an MMS message. Why? Because there's an image in the text message. So the image is the big, image at the top. I do like what they've done here is they've done the image and then they've also put the brand up in the top right-hand corner. It's always great to brand things, especially if somebody clicks on that image and they expand it on their phone, then the brand is going to be present in the image. So let's look at it. LA Collective. Again, they're putting their brand at the very front. Minty Fresh, shop the new Morgan Stewart Sport Collection, guaranteed to sell out. And then they have a link here. It's interesting to note that they're using HTTPS, which is more secure than HTTP. That is an interesting point. You have to realize that consumers are going to be cautious about clicking on links in text messages, no matter what. Even if they've opted into the SMS campaign, they received a message yesterday, they're always going to be nervous about clicking on a link. So the more things I think a brand can do to make the link look more secure, legit, I think is only better for the brand. We'll get higher click-through rates, which then usually result in higher ROI. So that is LA Collective, a great example of an MMS message. I also like how, this is a model, person model, and, the image is this way. I would have not recommended this way because a person usually is this way. So, if it's a burger, though, maybe this would be really good, or a hot dog, or, a landscape, type picture. But for this one, because she's sitting up, they want to get the shorts, the whole collection. This, is a better image format than the landscape format. So good use of images, links, everything's good on this message. Okay, this is Pura Vida. Pura Vida, again, starting out, with the brand at the front. Now, this is an interesting one. Instead of just saying like, get $10 off, I like when brands kind of personalize the message. So this one feels a little more personal. It's like, psst, meet our new summer must-haves. It's like a secret. This would be how, maybe one of my friends or family would text message me. So, it feels a little more personal. I like, when a brand kind of even takes it more, like, hey there, how's your week going? Here's a, promo for you. So I like mixing it up. If you go too personal all the time, people know it's kind of a joke, but, I would do, hey, get $10 off, or, if you spend 50, and then the next message kind of make it a little more personal. Looks good. Not much in this message, but, this is another strategy. some messages don't have to have a lot. This one, because it's, I guarantee when you click through, it's going to, open up all the summer collection. Maybe that's all you need to, tell them about. Where maybe, if it's a promotion, you got to give them a little more info. So maybe their next message, push it, do 300 characters, do a ton of line breaks, a lot of info. And then this one had, very little info. Again, mix it up and create kind of versatility, kind of, make them guessing what's going to come next. Okay, this one is Steve Madden. This is actually a new addition to the SMS archive. So check it out, smsarchives.com. So Steve Madden, your coupon expires in 2 days. Click here and use the coupon, which I would guess this would be unique to the subscriber, so you can't reuse the coupon. This is great because if somebody posts this message on social media or somebody sees it in this video, they could go and use that coupon as well. The first person that uses the coupon would then cancel the coupon out in the point of sale system. Therefore, it can't be used again. Also, it couldn't be used by me, 3 days in a row. So we call that, I guess, coupon code fraud, even though some people wouldn't consider it fraud. That is what it is. And that's why, brands are sending individualized coupons, unique coupons to each person at checkout for 20% off your new look. And then they have the link. So their link preview image is actually the brand. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. I rather, see, what kind of, products, maybe if it's shoes, show me the product. I don't need to see your brand logo. So that's something that maybe could be improved, but they've done a good job in the link preview text. It says official site, which again, makes a consumer more comfortable with clicking the link. If it says, this is the official site and has the trademark there, 20% off, free 2-day shipping. So good promo. Okay, Pawz, Pawz. Summer special, get 4+ tees or tanks and get 30% off your order. Okay, so this is, the McDonald's, but in reverse. So if it were me, what I would do is I would say, get 30% off your order when you order, 4 special teas or tanks. Do you see how that sounds just way better? It's like, ooh, 30% off your order when you order blah, blah, blah. Instead of special, get 4+ teas or tanks and get 30% off your order. It just doesn't sound as good. And if you trust in, McDonald's, they know what they're doing. They know how to get the highest conversions. They found that the bigger, the bolder the promotion, and then the smaller, more italicized, the qualification, the better ROI, click-through rates, engagement with that ad. Use code TEASE. So this would be when a brand is using a code that isn't unique to the subscriber. So, if you want to watch this video right now and you want to go to, Pawz, you could also use the code TEASE and you would get the same promotion. Some brands are okay with that. Some brands are not. That's up to you. Every purchase helps save the dogs. I like that. This brings up a good point. If you're using SMS or MMS and you got a lot of stuff going on in the message, use line breaks, even double line breaks. So for this one, I would have done Pawz, summer special, get 4 teas. Well, I would have switched it up. And then I would have said, line break, order here, line break, use code TEASE, line break, every purchase helps save the dogs. So then it's really easy to read. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, one of my favorites, they use MMS a ton, and their MMS messages look like they've been created specifically for MMS. I see a lot of brands, maybe they'll take an image just off Facebook or something. These images definitely look like they're optimized and made for MMS. So again, this is Sonic. I like Sonic because they put the brand in the image, then they put a lot of text in the image as well. I don't think it would look as good if it was just the marshmallow whip toasted s'more shake, which looks amazing. I don't think it would be as descriptive if the shake was just there. I think with all that text in there and the logo, I think it tells more of a story than just the image. And man, that does sound really good. Okay, this one is interesting. As we talked before, line breaks, line breaks, line breaks. It's the easiest thing you can do on any SMS platform. They should allow line breaks. So it's something that, anybody can do. I don't know if you're looking at this message right now, if your eyes just glaze over the whole message. My eyes do. They just look at it. I kind of see new toasted s'mores, and then it's just like, whoa, a lot of stuff there. If my friend texted me this, I'd be like, can you use like some line breaks or, I do have friends that text that much and I never respond to them because, it's kind of annoying because, it's too much to read. It's too small. And there's no, line breaks essentially to break up the thought. That would be kind of like, think about like reading an email or a book that had no line breaks or no paragraphs or anything. It would be very annoying. So I break this up with a ton of line breaks. The new toasted s'more shake is at Sonic. That's the first one, line break. 100% real vanilla ice cream is swirled with chocolate chunks, graham crackers, crumbles, blah, 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 cracker crumbles. Okay, so that's kind of the description of it. Line break, line break. It's your favorite campfire treat, frozen. Line break, because then it's try one, half price when you use your monthly app reward, and then that. That would make it look so much better. I could scan really quickly and go, okay, I get, what the description is. Oh, half price. Okay. And then I want to click the link. Now, this is interesting because they are linking to their app, their mobile app. So a lot of brands right now, they're linking to their mobile website, to make the purchase. Sonic has a great mobile app, so they're linking to the mobile app, and then they're tracking, with their smart link here. So great use of MMS. Could do better with line breaks and makes it easier to read, which will increase click-throughs, which will increase ROI. Okay, next one is swimoutlet.com. So Swim Outlet, newsflash. I like that. It's interesting. I've never seen that. It's not just, it's the final week of our sale. It's kind of like, oh, newsflash. Something is interesting in this message. It's the final week for our site-wide 20% off. And I love how they do 20% off, and off is capitalized. Throw in capital letters, throw in, dot, 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 throw in emojis, mix it up. If you just continually put, basic 160 characters of text, no line break, no emojis, no capital letters, people are literally going to look at your message day after day, and they're just going to get bored. So good job. Newsflash, kind of, oh, something interesting is happening. Site-wide, 20% off. They actually did site-wide. Site-wide 20% off, all cap letters, sale using code SUMMER. Again, the code, I would usually recommend that, any promo codes are in capital letters so it kind of stands out. Click to shop. This one, you could do some real easy line breaks. Click to shop should be on its own, kind of, line break. And I'm okay with everything else. I think that looks good. And then you look down here, they're doing a link preview. This is not an MMS message, even though there's an image. It's the link preview image, so it's an SMS message. I would say, though, I think they could do better on the link preview image. I'm kind of squinting right now. I'm seeing 20% off, but I'm not seeing much else here. I can see it's kind of people swimming, but if I were them, I would maybe take out the 20% off and enlarge those images, maybe only pick two of them so, it's really well spaced, and so you can see it. So always a good example or a good reminder, send it to your phone. Send it to, your Android phones in the office, send it to your iPhones. Most SMS providers will have test phones. So, send it to those phones, look at it, analyze it, see how somebody can misinterpret, what you're trying to do or do something maybe you don't want them to do, and see how you can optimize it. And also get other people's feedback. If you're the the SMS person at a company, make sure you're sending it to people maybe that didn't even get the SMS last time. Maybe send it to your mother, your father, your kids, and be like, hey, what do you think? And they'll be like, that's so boring, or that's awesome, or I don't understand. Because maybe if you're so entrenched in the SMS and sending it weekly, you might forget certain things. So I love sending it to my friends that are not in SMS marketing and going, hey, what do you think about this? And I learn a lot. Most of the time they're like, hey, I don't get it, or it looks complex, or I don't trust that link. And you're like, oh, thank you for that feedback. because now when I send it to my million subscribers, I've resolved those issues. Okay, next one is Office Depot. Office Depot, buy one, get one, buy one, get one free on select masks plus deals. So they did the McDonald's strategy. Actually, no, they didn't. They did the opposite of McDonald's strategy. So it should be get one, mask when you buy one, or something like that. Plus deals on other health and wellness items while supplies last. That could be a line break, and then definitely. I would say if you're going to use line breaks, the first one, the easiest one you can do is on the stop instructions, put it down on a double line break so it's below the message. Now, I've seen some people try to mislead consumers and they put it, 22 line breaks down here. So message and then line break. Don't do that. But, message and then line break. So it's like a space in the middle and then put text stop to opt out. It looks way better. You would never see this in an email. You never see like the email, copy, and then at the very end of the email copy, click here to unsubscribe. You don't see that. It's at the bottom. It's in its own kind of footer down there. So, definitely if you're going to use line breaks, the first line break you should put is the text stop to opt out. Now, a lot of people ask me, Derek, do I need to put text stop to opt out in a message? For me, I like it in every message because it, builds trust with the consumer that they can opt out at any time, so they're not like held hostage. But the carriers, the CTIA, all they require is that text stop to opt out or text end to end, whatever you want to put in there, has to be put in at least once per month. So just know that. So maybe if you have a calendar or content calendar, just mark, in highlighter, which message is going to have the text stop to opt out. If you're doing an MMS message where you could have up to 5,000 characters, I don't see a reason why you can't, in every single message, put text stop to opt out. Also, it reduces the amount of consumers that might get frustrated, because they can't figure out how to opt out, which can result in, people being frustrated with your brand, which is never good. Okay, that's it. A quick, relatively quick review this week. Hopefully you learned a lot. Again, you can visit smsarchives.com. You can check out all these different brands, all these different messages. Hopefully they give you inspiration if you're trying to start an SMS campaign. You can figure out kind of what you're going to send. And if you're already doing text message marketing, it's a great resource to figure out how people are being innovative or brands are being innovative and how they're pushing the boundaries and maybe how you can copy some of the stuff they're doing to get some of the same and high ROI that they're getting. Again, my name is Derek Johnson from Tatango.com. This is a week in review. Again, these text messages can be found on smsarchives.com. Thanks, everyone.